welcome to EduTap and welcome to the Finance 360-degree sessions in which we cover the relevant and important finance current affairs and the RBI notifications which are important from your exam perspective. And in today's session, I have brought for you the three very important news articles. The first one is regarding the SEBI to start the T+0 Trade Settlement on optional basis. Now I have brought the circular of the SEBI for you so that you have the complete information that what the SEBI is trying to say and what this new thing that the SEBI has brought. Okay, so from this circular that the SEBI has released, we will understand that what is this whole news article. Okay, the next news article is regarding the WMA, that is the ways and means advances. We will discuss about that. What is the ways and means advances, as well as we will discuss that what is the limit that has been set by the Reserve Bank of India. And the third news article is the RBI 90 years ceremony. So we will discuss that what is this ceremony, and these three news articles, they are very important from your exam perspective, as you have seen that in the RBI grade B examination there are the questions that have been asked from the SEBI also. Okay, the simple questions from SEBI, as well as for the SEBI grade A examination also this news article is important from the SEBI grade A examination perspective. Okay, so we will discuss that what is this whole news articles. Let's start with it. But before that, do subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you continue getting these relevant videos, as well as join our Telegram channel for the PDF of the session. So in the Telegram channel of EduTap, you are going to get the PDF of the session. Okay, so the link for the Telegram channel is provided in the description box below. So now, starting with the first news article, that is the SEBI to start the T+0 trade settlement on the optional basis. So let's start with this. So SEBI, that is the Securities and Exchange Board of India, has began the T+0 trade settlement cycle on an optional basis on March 28th. So this has started now on March 21st, 2024. The SEBI had released a circular regarding this guideline that the SEBI is going to introduce the beta version for the T+0 settlement cycle. Okay, so this is the brief idea that the SEBI has started the T+0 settlement cycle on the optional basis. So before understanding that what is this whole news article, what is this settlement cycle, let's understand the background. So SEBI, through a circular dated on September 7, 2021, allowed for the introduction of T+1 rolling settlement cycle. So T+1 means that the trade is happening today. That is the trade day. Today, let's say on Wednesday, the trade has started. I have said that, okay, I want these particular securities, I want these particular shares, and the seller is saying that, okay, the seller wants to sell these particular securities. Now, on the next day, that is on Thursday, the settlement will happen. So, on Wednesday, the trade has initiated, and on Thursday, the trade will be settled. So, that is the trade day plus 1 day. So, on the Wednesday, the trade will be initiated, but on Thursday, on the next day, that is the plus 1 day, that is on the next day, the trade will be settled. Okay, so this is the kind of settlement cycle. Now the trade that has been initiated on Thursday, that will be settled on Friday, and the trade that has been initiated on Monday, that will be settled on Tuesday. The trade that has been initiated on Tuesday, that will be settled on Wednesday. So this is simple, that is trade plus 1 day. The trade is initiating on 1 day, and the next day the settlement is happening, and this is on the rolling basis. Rolling basis means the trade that is initiated on Monday will be settled on Tuesday. The trade that is initiated on Tuesday will be settled on Wednesday. So there is no particular day on which the settlement will happen. No, it is on the rolling basis that you are initiating your trade today, so the trade will be settled on the next day, whatever that next day is. So that was the T+1 rolling settlement cycle that was introduced by the SEBI. Okay, before the T+1 there was the T+2, that means it was taking 2 extra days for the settlement. So to shorten the cycle of the settlement of the transactions of the shares, that you are selling the shares on a particular day on Monday, so your settlement should happen by Tuesday. So for shortening that cycle from T+2 to T+1, there was the introduction of the T+1 rolling settlement cycle. Now all the stock exchanges, that is the Zerodha and the the stock exchanges, that is the NSE, the BSE, that are the stock exchanges, the National Stock Exchange, the Bombay Stock Exchange, the clearing corporations, and the depositories such as the NSDL, the CDSL, that keep your securities in the demat form, So all the stock exchanges, that is the NSE, BSE, the clearing corporations that clear and settle the trade, as well as the depositories that keep your securities in the demat form. So they are collectively referred to as the market infrastructure institutions. So all the stock exchanges, they jointly decided to shift to the T+1 settlement cycle from the T+2 settlement cycle in a phased manner, which was fully implemented by January 27, 2023. And now there is a decision that has been taken that from March 28, 2024, on the optional basis, in a beta version, there is the T+0 settlement cycle that is being introduced. So now from March 28, 2024, there is the beta version that has started for the T+0 settlement cycle. So you can understand that now the trade will be initiated on Wednesday and the trade will be settled on Wednesday only. There is no extra need for going to the other day. So the significant evolution has happened of the technology, architecture, and the capacity of the market infrastructure. The market infrastructure institutions, that is the stock exchanges, have the best in class infrastructure, they have the best in class technology. The clearing corporations are able to clear and settle the trade very fast, as well as there are the depositories such as the NSDL and the CDSL that are able to keep the securities in the demat form. Okay, so you can understand that these are the market infrastructure institutions that have the capacity, that have the technology and the architecture, and this presents the opportunities for the further advancing of the clearing and settlement timelines and shortening the timelines from the T+1 to T+0. So we are further moving ahead with this idea. So further, India's depository ecosystem. So depositories, that is the National Securities Depository Limited, and the CDSL, that is the Central Depository Services Limited. These are the depositories that keep our securities, our stocks, our shares in the demat form. So the depository ecosystem in India has visibility of the individual client level holdings, because they are the ones, the depositories are the ones that are keeping our securities in the demat form. So they have the visibility of the client level holdings of the securities in the digital form, in the demat form, and so has the ability to affect the immediate transfer of the securities from one person to other person. So they know that, okay, Kritika has a particular security and that has to be transferred to, let's say, Ram. So the transaction can happen very easily because the depositories has the visibility. They are the ones that are keeping the securities in the demat form. So they can easily transfer the security from my account to some other person's account. Also, India's payments and settlement ecosystem has become very fast. You can understand that the payment and settlement system of our country has become very, very fast with the RTGS, with the NEFT, with the real-time settlements that are happening, and as well as with the UPI, the payment and settlement system ecosystem has long allowed for the real-time transfer of the funds. So now the securities that were taking one extra day for the settlement can also happen on the same day, on the real-time basis. So a shortened settlement cycle will bring the cost and time efficiency. So time will be reduced and the transactions will be happening on the same day. This initiation of the transaction and the settlement of the transaction can happen on the same day. Transparency will be brought in charges to the investors and strengthen the risk management system also at clearing corporations. So on one day you have started your transaction, you are initiating your transaction. What if on the next day you do not have the security for the settlement? So this kind of risk was involved. But now if the settlement, if the initiation and the settlement is happening on the same day, you can understand that there will be the risk will be reduced. Okay. So strengthening the risk management at clearing corporation and overall securities market ecosystem will become more efficient. So give me a thumbs up if you are able to understand the idea of the T+0 settlement cycle, and it is a rolling cycle, as well as now on the same day initiation as well as the settlement will happen. Okay. So accordingly, based on the recommendations that were provided by a working group, so they understood that okay, we have the technology, we have the capacity to bring the T+0. So that's why the working group was appointed. Accordingly, based on the recommendation of the working group consisting of the market infrastructure institutions, the public comments and the recommendations of the Risk Management Review Committee of the SEBI, of the Securities and Exchange Board of India, a proposal was given to the SEBI board on introduction of optional T+0 settlement. Right now, directly the T+0 cannot be brought for the whole of the ecosystem. So the T+0 settlement cycle is coming in a beta version. You will see that it is only for the 25 scrips right now, only for the 25 shares or stocks right now. So that is the idea, that proposal, the working group has given the proposal to the SEBI for bringing the T+0 settlement cycle and having the optional instant settlement in addition to the existing T+1 settlement cycle. This was placed before SEBI board for approval, and then the SEBI board has given the go ahead to this proposal. So pursuant to deliberations and approval of the board, it has been decided to put in place a framework for the introduction of the beta version of the T+0 settlement cycle on the optional basis. So the beta version has been brought of the T+0 settlement cycle. This is on the optional basis in addition to the existing T+1 settlement cycle. In equity market, you can understand, for a limited set of 25 stocks, for a limited set of 25 scrips. So for the 25 stocks, the T+0 settlement cycle has been started, and this is the beta version with a limited number of stock brokers such as the Zerodha and IND Money and Angel One or Upstock and such. Okay. So now these are the operational guidelines that has been released by the SEBI in its circular. First of all, eligible investors. So all the investors are eligible to participate in the segment for T+0 settlement cycle if they have the capacity, if they are able to meet the timelines, because now the initiation of the trade and the settlement of the trade has to happen on the same day. So if you have the securities and if you want to transact and you can initiate and settle the trade instantly, then you can come under this cycle. Process, they are able to meet the process as well as they are able to meet the risk requirements as prescribed by the market infrastructure institutions. Now the next is surveillance measures. So the same surveillance measures that are applicable to T+1, they will be applicable to the T+0 settlement cycle also, the stocks that are under the T+0 settlement cycle. So this is a beta version that is going on with only limited set of 25 stocks with a limited number of brokers. Okay. Now trade timings, so one continuous trading session on a day will be from 9:15 AM to 1:30 PM. That is, this is the timeline that is provided for the T+0 settlement cycle. Okay. Next is price band, the price. So this is an important thing, that the price in T+0 will operate with a band of ±1%. That is 100 basis points, that means 1% from the T+1 prices. So from the T+1 prices, the T+0 prices will differ around 1%. So that is, the price in the T+0 segment will operate with the price band of ±1%, that is ±100 basis point from the price in the regular T+1 market, as well as this band will be recalibrated after every 0.5% movement in the underlying T+1 market. So the prices of the T+1 market and the prices of the T+0 market will be different, and the difference is going to come in the band of 1% ±1%. Now when the calculation of the index is happening, the Nifty or there is the bank index that is there. So when the calculation of the index is happening and the settlement price computation, so T+0 prices will not be considered in the index calculation. The index calculation will happen as per the T+1 prices only, and the settlement price computation will happen on the basis of the T+1 prices. There shall be no separate close price for securities based on trading in T+0 settlement when we are talking about the index calculation, when we are talking about the settlement price computation in the index place. Okay. So this is the idea, that the T+0 prices will not be considered in the index calculation and settlement price computation. There shall be no separate close price for securities based on trading in T+0 segment. So now coming to netting of the obligation. So netting of the obligation cannot happen between two different trading settlement cycles. That means if the settlement cycle is of the T+0, the netting, the paying, the payout, that is the providing the securities, the getting the money and everything, that should happen in this particular cycle. If it is happening in T+1, the providing the securities and paying the money should happen in T+1 only. That means if you have initiated the trade today, it's not like that you are giving the securities today but the money is going to come tomorrow. No. The pay-in and payout should happen on the T+1 basis only if you have initiated it in the T+1. So that means the netting of settlement cannot happen between two different cycles. So netting of obligations, there shall be no netting in pay-in payout obligation between the two different settlement cycles. That will be wrong because one party will be giving it on the T+0, the other party will be giving the money on T+1. So that can lead to much of the confusion and much of the risk from the parties. Okay. Now, so this is the whole article regarding, this is the whole circular from the SEBI. You can understand that it is said that the market infrastructure institution should bring out more of the FAQs for making it clear for the public that what is this whole system and how it is going to work. To ensure the smooth implementation, the market infrastructure institution shall publish other operational guidelines including the mechanism for trading, clearing, settlement, risk management and such. On periodic basis, the market infrastructure institutions shall disseminate the list of brokers, because there are the limited brokers that will be undertaking this T+0 cycle. So list of brokers had to be released. MIIs shall provide a fortnightly report on the progress that has happened in the beta version. The provisions of this circular shall come into force with effect from 28th March 2024. So you can understand that this beta version has started from March 28, 2024. SEBI shall continue to do further stakeholder consultation, including with users to the beta version of the T+0 settlement cycle. So this is the complete circular that the SEBI has released, and I have brought the points from the circular itself so that you have the clarity and you have the real information. Now coming to the RBI that has celebrated its 90th year. So the Reserve Bank of India, this was set up under the RBI Act of 1934 and it commenced its operations on April 1, 1935. Okay. So I hope the previous news article is clear. Any confusion regarding the SEBI wala news article? All the students are clear about that? So now coming to the RBI that has celebrated its 90th year. So RBI has set up that is set up under the RBI Act of 1934, has commenced its operations on April 1, 1935, and here you can see that the RBI celebrates its 90th year. So today marks, that is the April 1st, 2024 marks the 90th year from its establishment. Okay, and there were the dignitaries that were present, the important dignitaries that were present in this celebration. So now the central office of the Reserve Bank of India, this was initially established in Kolkata. I hope many of you know that the central office of the RBI was initially in Kolkata, but then it was shifted permanently, it was moved permanently to Mumbai. Okay, so remember this also, this is also important information regarding the RBI. So now a coin was released by the Honorable Prime Minister to mark the special occasion of RBI at the rate 90. So this was the special occasion in which the Honorable Finance Minister has given the speech, the Prime Minister has given the speech, and so now Jaskaran sir is going to bring a complete descriptive answer session on this particular topic. So I'm not delving deep into this topic because Jaskaran sir is going to come up with the session, the descriptive answer writing session on this. RBI completing its, or RBI going to the 90th year. Okay, so RBI celebrating its 90th year from its establishment. So this topic will be covered by Jaskaran sir in the descriptive answer writing session. So let's continue with the next news article. I have given you the brief idea that what are the points that you have to remember, the points from the objective perspective that you have to remember. From the descriptive perspective, Jaskaran sir is going to come up with the session, and the 90th year, that is the main point here that you have to remember, that the RBI is going into the 90th year of the Reserve Bank of India establishment. Now WMA limit for the Government of India for the first half of the financial year. So it has been decided by the Reserve Bank of India in consultation with the Government of India that the limit for ways and means advances for the first half of the financial year 2024-25 will be 1,50,000 crore. So now I hope many of you are already aware about this ways and means advances. This is a instrument that is with the central government. So central government meets temporary mismatches between the receipts and expenditure through ways and means advances provided by the RBI. So the government is doing the expenditure, and the government has receipts also. The government is receiving through the taxes, the government is receiving through different means. Okay, so the government is receiving the receipts and the government is spending the money. When the expenditure of the government is more than the receipts, then the government, and this is a temporary mismatch that has happened, and the government is in the requirement of immediate money, the government can go to the Reserve Bank of India to take the money for this temporary mismatch under the ways and means advances that is provided by the Reserve Bank of India. So ways and means advances, the size and cost of the WMA is determined on the basis of mutual agreement between the RBI and Government of India. So they do the consultation to decide the limit, to decide the amount. Now amounts that are drawn beyond the WMA limit would be treated as overdraft, and there will be higher interest rate that will be charged on this overdraft. So WMAs, so ways and means advances, these are provided by the Reserve Bank of India. These are the advances, a kind of loan that the RBI is providing to the Government of India at the repo rate. So this is the interest rate that is charged from the Reserve Bank by the Reserve Bank of India from the Government of India. The repo rate is charged on the WMAs. But now if the Government of India is doing the overdraft, is taking the extra money, so on the overdraft, the Reserve Bank of India charge the repo rate plus the 2%. So there is the extra 2% that is charged on the overdraft money. So for overdraft, the rate of interest is above the WMA rate by 2%, and the WMA rate is the repo rate actually. Okay. So this is the idea of the WMA. This is provided for a short period of time to meet the temporary mismatches between the receipts and the expenditure of the Government of India. As per the agreement, the WMAs shall be fully paid off within 3 months from the date of making the WMA. So from the date the WMA is received by the government, from that date within 3 months the whole payoff has to happen of the WMA to the Reserve Bank of India. Okay. Now further, when 75% of the WMA limit is utilized, so 75% of the WMA limit is utilized, that means the government further will require the money. So in this case, the RBI would trigger the fresh flotation of the government securities so that the government can receive further money for the expenditure that the government has to do. So in COVID situation, you can understand that the government had to spend a lot for the health facilities of the country. So in these kind of scenarios, the government require a lot of money to spend, and the receipts are sometimes not able to cover up the expenditure that the government is doing. So in this scenario, there is the requirement for the government to meet the temporary mismatches through the WMAs that has to be paid off within 3 months. If further the money is required by the government, the RBI will be triggering the fresh flotation of the government securities. So this is the idea that WMA are temporary advances that are provided by the RBI to the center as well as to the state governments, but the limits are released different on the different time periods. So for the center government, for the Government of India, that is for the central government, the limit has been released. For the state governments, there are separately the limits that are released. So the WMAs are temporary advances by the Reserve Bank of India to the center and the state governments to tide over any mismatch in the receipts and the expenditure. It was introduced in 1997 and comes under section 17(5) of the RBI Act of 1934. Okay, the government can avail immediate cash from the RBI when required, but it has to be returned within 90 days. As well as the limits of WMA are decided by the Reserve Bank of India in consultation with the Government of India. Now, this is the news article that you have to remember, that the Reserve Bank of India has decided this limit for the first half of 2024. That is the new financial year. RBI may trigger fresh flotation of market loans when the Government of India utilizes 75% of the WMA limit. So that means the government is going to require further of the money. So for that, government securities are released. RBI, in consultation with the Government of India, retains the flexibility to revise the limit, that if the limit has to be increased, so that can be increased, but the RBI has to decide that in consultation with Government of India. At any time, taking into consideration the prevailing circumstances. So let's say there is the circumstance of some disaster that has happened. In that case, the government requires extra money. So for that, in consideration with the prevailing circumstances, the limit of the WMA can be increased. Okay, but there should be some particular instance that should have happened. The interest rate on the WMA or the overdraft, so the WMA rate is actually the repo rate that the RBI charges, and for the overdraft there is the repo rate plus the 2%. So the overdraft rate will be the 2% above the repo rate. So this is the whole news article regarding the WMA and the understanding regarding the WMA that you need to have. So this is it for today. Now this is the first question. I hope you will be easily able to answer this question. So read this question carefully and try to answer this question. This is a homework question. Now the second question is regarding the ways and means advances, the basic idea of ways and means advances. So if you have understood about the WMA, you will be easily able to answer this question. And the last question is regarding the RBI that has gone into the 90th year of its establishment. So this is the last question that I hope you will be able to answer. Okay, so the coin has been released by the Prime Minister of the country in a celebration of the 90th year. So remember that. Now there is a big announcement from EduTap also that we have brought for you the comprehensive guidebook for RBI, NABARD and SEBI, so that through a single guidebook you are able to get the information regarding the examination. If you want to know about the syllabus, about the pattern of the exam, the sources from where to prepare, as well as if you want to get the previous year questions, so they all are provided with this guidebook, and you can easily get much of the information from this guidebook that is going to help you a lot in your preparation journey. Okay, so if you want to download this guidebook, the link is provided in the description box below, and let me tell you that this is absolutely free of cost to save your time, to save your efforts, and you can easily download the guidebook. The link is provided in the description box below for your registration. Okay, so now thank you very much. I hope you will be able to answer the homework questions. So there are the 3 homework questions that have been provided to you. So try to answer these questions, and I hope you enjoyed today's session. So the RBI at the rate 90. So this is the celebration that is going on from the RBI side, and Jaskaran sir is going to come up with the descriptive answer writing session. So I haven't gone too much in depth in that topic. Okay. Sai, that is not possible because there is a different team that is working, that is pushing the PDF. So there are a lot of PDFs that had to be pushed. So that is pushed at a particular time. So support team is doing that, and support team is given 24 hours time to give the PDFs in the Telegram channel. Okay, you are most welcome everyone.